Hello and welcome to the week ahead. This week I'm going to go over a little bit of the subtleties that I see in the market right now and what I think might be happening with this quote unquote Santa rally that we've kind of not had yet. We only have it's a short week this week and there's only, less than 10 days left in the trading year. And so I don't know that a rally is going to happen from here, but I do think there are some clues that are hinting at it. If you want a really, really deep dive, Charting Man Dan from the Chart Guys does a really awesome version of that. He has got a 30-minute video here. I will share this link in my description. You should check it out, where he goes over all the sectors and how they're all playing together and what he sees in the market. I just want to add a little bit of what I see. So obviously I've been talking about this for a while, that we were expecting a weekly lower high. We got that weekly lower high, then we came down. I was expecting a weekly higher low. I want to talk a bit about how we got that weekly higher low. We have the potential weekly higher low now. You can see it right there. And it won't be confirmed until we break the high of last week, and the uptrend won't be confirmed until we break the high of this weekly lower high here. And that's really the big question: is are we going to be able to do that and rally up towards in the last few days of the trading year or not? And so I think there are some clues showing that we might be able to do that. And so I'm going to talk about that now. So I knew this was coming. I've been waiting for this. I was trying to catch this bottom, and I did not succeed in catching the bottom. So I want to talk about how and why that happened. And really, that plays into how and why I think this market could keep going from here. And it's not illustrated as well on NQ because I'm not actually a futures trader, but it shows really, really well on QQQ. So I'm going to jump over there. So here on the daily, you can see the low that we got was a hard move to the low, and we closed at the low. And then the next day, so this was Wednesday, on Thursday, we opened up massively to the upside, right? And so there was no wick on the bottom. There was no bottom to be caught that day. We closed at the low. And if you go even deeper, let's go to the 4 hour, take a peek there. And yeah, you can see closed at the low and then immediately in the after hours started moving up. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Let's just go to the 30-minute. Yeah. So look at this move down. This was the solid leg down that I was getting excited for the bottom to be somewhere in here. And I started to make attempts for a long down in here. When they didn't work and we broke lower, that's not even true. I tried here. I thought this might be the weekly higher low from the day before. And I first tried here thinking we were going to get an hourly higher low above this low. And so I had a really great position in here for continuation on an hourly higher low for the weekly, and this being the weekly right here. So I thought this would be the low. Here was the hourly higher low because we'd had this gap up. I was like, oh, cool. We got the strength and we were going to go from there. Sadly, I got stopped out break even on that attempt and it came lower. And I was like, okay, all right, going lower. When we started to bounce in here, I tried again. I tried 2 or 3 times. And because of all of this oscillation and indecision in here over the course of, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. So 2.5 hours. And then we ultimately rolled over again. And then when we got down here, I was like, oh no, like at that point, I was pretty convinced that we were going to close at the low of the day. So I didn't try again down here. And you'll see, if you even go down to the 5-minute, it was in the last 10 minutes that we shot down further and then closed at the low. And then what happened in the after hours? Well, Micron had earnings and they were bullish, and that immediately brought everything starting to rally. And it was because of those earnings, I think, a lot of tech started to see bounces overnight, and we got this move here. And then here we had CPI data, and that boom shot everything up further. Was it CPI? I'm pretty sure it was CPI. Anyway, there was data that came in, and then we shot it up even higher. So this low was really, really, really hard to buy. You had to be very, very confident that that was the low, and you had to buy into the close without a stop overnight, assuming you're not going to gap down on a really, strong leg down. So that, to me, as a bounce V-shaped style trader, is very, very difficult to catch. And there's a reason that I'm telling you all of this. And that is because this type of action catches people without a position. And then we get a gap up like this, and everybody's like even as this was happening and we were closing at low of day, and I kept getting stopped out over and over again, stopped out break even. I didn't have a big loser that day. I did take a little bit of red because I didn't get it perfectly every time, but this was not a loser day for me. So I'm not saying that I lost on the way down. I just didn't get a successful trade going. And then as it was happening, I kept saying to myself, if this thing closes at low of day, because I'm expecting a weekly higher low, and this is an emotional move to the downside, I expect that we are going to bounce. And all these prices where I'm trying to get long here and getting stopped out, I'm going to never see them again. It's going to open up above, and it's never going to come back down there. I said it in Chart Guys, and I'm going to see if I can find it right now, actually, so I can put it on here. And here it is, Wednesday at 10:11 a.m. Pacific. Result to stopping out at this point. So this was another one of my attempts where I couldn't do it. If everything is at lows together, I'll probably not try again today. That was when I noticed that all sectors were hitting lows at the same time, which generally is a really bad time to be trying to get long. The bearishness, whenever that happens, the bearishness in the market is so strong that everybody kind of gives up. And that's when you get days where they close at the lows. So I was saying, if everything is at the lows together, I'll probably not try again today. Take my lumps today, then watch it gap up overnight and never see the spot where I got my entry again. And that's what happened. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one that happened to. And so this is something that I keep thinking about is, we opened here on Thursday and then we basically went sideways the whole day. So this isn't a bullish day either. It doesn't really give you a great place to get long. You could buy whatever low is here and cross your fingers and hope it doesn't just continue down. But you didn't get a definitive move. You didn't get a break above this, what we could call a kill candle, right? It's like we got this leg up into this was 4-hour resistance. I'll show you what that looked like. So this was our move down, move down, move down. The purple line here is the 4-hour EMA 12. We tried to get above it, tried to get above the high of Tuesday, failed, and came all the way back down. Nice long negative day here. And then on this day, what we were balancing, it was an inside day, which is always the most likely scenario after you have a big, strong move like that, is an inside day. But so we didn't get above this high of the prior day. We didn't move anywhere near the low, but just went sideways, sideways, sideways. And we're making lower highs as we did it. So again, not giving you confidence. And then what happens? Well, you open the next morning near the highs, you come down a little bit. And when I saw this on Friday morning and we were opening down here, I said to my trading partner, Tiffany, I was like, I think it's going to be jets today. I think this is primed to keep going. And it did. And there were a few names that I saw that were doing this in tech. Google was one where we were finally getting that turnaround, seeing some relative strength come back into it. And Google also had been looking for a daily higher low. And so this is the exact kind of price action that leaves people without a position. And so if we're going to get a rally into the end of the year, this is exactly what the market wants. This is exactly the kind of thing that is going to force people. If this thing keeps going up and up and up, and they really believe that towards the end of the year, we're going to be at all-time highs again, they're going to have to chase. And the further that it does this, the longer that it keeps drifting up, drifting up, drifting up, trying to get up to this level. It's not even this level, it's this level. But in Qs, you got to get here first. There's this quadruple top that you got to try to get to. If you really want to get up there, like right now in the after hours we were moving up, if we gap up, that is going to cause a lot of people to chase. And it'll probably fake people out and come back in. If it does that, I will be looking for an hourly higher low. Here on the 4-hour, you can see on the QQQ, there wasn't really a higher low. We've been stair-stepping up on the 4-hour. And so a 4-hour higher low would be awesome. And I'm not sure we're going to get it. I think we could just do something like, this is what I want, like a dip like this. But more likely we'll just keep doing that, I think. That's just because there's people who are offside right now. And the market might try to push, like, because of this situation, they might feel the FOMO and start trying to chase it. And the more people that chase it, the further it's going to go. And so that, I think, is their best hope to get this towards the end of the year. If there is a dip coming, I would be interested in trying to buy it. We are getting, this, I don't really count these as great higher lows. This is probably the best one here that happened, and it happened in pre-market. NQ is a little bit nicer on the 4-hour, where you can see that there was this balance could be considered, that is your faux higher low on the 4-hour. On the hourly, it's kind of clear you did get, this was an hourly higher low here, and then you get a huge retracement of it here, but it did hold. And then there's another one here, and this is probably a 30-minute higher low or something. Anyway, it's just we're pushing things up, and I think it's going to force people to chase. And I heard somebody say recently that the best reversals happen on gaps, like you gap up and away from the pivots or the changes, like the tone changes because of some kind of news or just whatever market event, and then it forces a gap, and then that leaves people offside and they're forced to chase, and then the rallies go crazy. This to me is a version of that, where it's not actually a gap because we weren't outside of the prior range, but nobody had a chance to buy down here. If you were buying down here, it was on blind faith without stops, and that's folly in my opinion. And that's why I didn't buy it. And that's that. I think, back to Qs, I think that's our best hope for a rally. The other thing that could happen is, like, I'm not chasing this. I'm waiting for a dip. I'm still not in. I didn't get in Thursday. I didn't get in Friday. I'm watching and waiting for my opportunity because I'm a dip buyer and I have not had a really good dip. This was, I thought, going to be it, and it didn't give me a chance to get out of a trade here. So I'm just not in it, and that has to be okay. That's just trading, right? I'm sure there's other setups outside of the queues that I could be taking in other names, and I'll be looking for those. All right, so that's it for me. I hope you guys have a great week. It is a short week. I'm actually probably not going to be trading that much this week. I'm only going to be trading in the mornings, probably mostly on Monday, Tuesday, and then after that, I'm going to be hands off and just waiting for the new year, spending some time with my family. I hope you get to spend some time with yours. And I wish you a wonderful rest of 2025 and happy trading for whatever trading you manage to do between here and the end of the year. I am probably not going to put out another video until next year. So happy holidays. Hey, if you like my indicators on TradingView and you like the content I'm producing here on this channel, please remember to like and subscribe.